driving.
I broke down, screaming. It was so bad that the neighbors knocked on the door. It was like, "Are you okay?"
Their world just crumbled Friday after they found 18-year-old Aonesty dead in a deserted area of Blue Ridge Trail with no clue on what happened to her. Yet today her aunt shared with me she is still processing the shock of what happened and the hole now in their family's hearts.
Just her being here. I'm just gonna miss her, period. She's just supposed to be here.
Aonesty Selby just celebrated her 18th birthday Tuesday, the day before her disappearance. Now her aunt Ebony Selby is preparing for a funeral.
We're just so confused as to how this could have happened. But I think it's just more sadness at this point.
Over the weekend, I spoke with Selby for the very first time about the death of Aonesty and how she says she, along with Aonesty's parents, found her body in Isle of Wight in this area you see on your screen. Yet this morning, police called her saying that the suspicious death was ruled as a homicide.
In the serene coastal town of Nags Head, North Carolina, on January 10, 2005, a newborn's cry pierced the salty air. Aonesty Selby had arrived. Born to Amanda Bailey, Aonesty entered the world with a quiet strength that would define her short but radiant life. Nags Head, with its windswept dunes and crashing waves, was a fitting birthplace for a girl who would grow to embody warmth and resilience. The Baileys' modest home became her first sanctuary, where her earliest memories were shaped by the lull of the ocean and her mother's loving embrace. But the coastal calm didn't last long. The family soon relocated to Williamsburg, Virginia, a town steeped in history, where Aonesty's childhood unfolded. There, they settled on a tree-lined street filled with the scent of blooming magnolias and the sound of children's laughter. As the eldest of three, Aonesty cherished her younger sisters, becoming their gentle protector and second mom. Amanda often marveled at her daughter's maturity, watching her tuck them in, dry their tears, and braid their hair with care. Aonesty's childhood was filled with quiet wonder. She loved exploring Williamsburg's historic district, where horse-drawn carriages and costumed interpreters brought the past to life. Music became her refuge, fashion her creative outlet. Even as a child, she had an eye for beauty, styling her sisters' hair and painting their nails with playful designs. At school, Aonesty was thoughtful and kind, her gentle presence earning respect from both teachers and peers. Beneath her calm demeanor lay a bright, witty spirit that lit up when she felt safe. In 7th grade, the family returned to their North Carolina roots, settling in Currituck County. There, surrounded by extended family, Aonesty attended Currituck County High School and continued to grow into her own. Classmates admired her warmth and humor, teachers praised her character, and her talent for hair and nails blossomed. She dreamed of becoming a cosmetologist, opening a salon where others could feel beautiful and seen. But her hopes didn't stop there. She imagined traveling the world, Paris and Tokyo topping her list, and one day starting a family built on the same love she was raised with. In early 2023, Aonesty made a heartfelt decision to return to Williamsburg to graduate alongside a close cousin, choosing connection over convenience. June 2023 was set to be her moment of triumph. But tragedy struck before she could cross that stage, robbing her loved ones of the joy they longed to celebrate and leaving a void that still echoes. On January 11, 2023, Aonesty Selby awoke to a quiet Virginia winter morning, unaware it would be her last. Having just celebrated her 18th birthday, she was filled with the quiet excitement of a new chapter. Her Williamsburg apartment, shared with a roommate, reflected her blossoming independence. Cozy, personal, with a colorful throw blanket, a soft playlist, and a vision board full of dreams, cosmetology, travel, a future built on passion. That afternoon, she stepped out, her phone tucked away, heading toward a destination no one in her family would ever know. By evening, the phone would fall silent, leaving her loved ones trapped in spiraling fear. Aonesty's family was used to hearing from her, texts, calls, little check-ins that bridged the distance. So when messages went unanswered, concern took root quickly. Amanda, her mother, and her younger sisters grew anxious. Silence wasn't like Aonesty. Her love and loyalty were too strong. As dusk fell, calls went out, each unanswered ring heightening their alarm. By January 12th, fear turned to panic. Amanda hoped she was just at a friend's house, caught in distraction. But something felt off. The apartment remained quiet. Her roommate, also navigating early adulthood, didn't think much at first. Young people came and went after all. But as time passed, concern grew. Williamsburg's quaint charm suddenly felt too vast, too quiet, a place where someone could vanish without a trace. The family reached out to friends, but no one had seen or heard from Aonesty. Each call, each silence, deepened the dread. By January 13th, they were desperate. Then came a message from one of Aonesty's friends, a turning point. On the night of January 11th, Aonesty had shared her phone's location. The friend pinged it, and a signal appeared. Amanda, joined by relatives, quickly followed the digital trail. It led them to Blue Ridge Trail in Isle of Wight County, a remote stretch far from Williamsburg. Isolated and wooded, it was the kind of place known only to hunters, not teenagers with dreams. As the family made their way through the brush, frost crunching beneath their feet, hope and dread collided. The quiet, pine-scented air carried no answers. They called out her name. Then, in a clearing beneath towering oaks, they found her. Aonesty's body lay still, and with that, the world unraveled. Amanda's cries pierced the silence, raw, devastated. Police arrived soon after, their flashing lights confirming what the family already knew. Aonesty was gone. Her life had been stolen in a brutal act of violence. The discovery of Aonesty Selby's body on Blue Ridge Trail sent shockwaves through Isle of Wight County, turning a quiet winter day into the start of a harrowing homicide investigation. Police secured the scene, their boots imprinting the frozen earth as they cordoned off the once tranquil trail, now a crime scene. The medical examiner's findings were grim. A single gunshot wound had ended Aonesty's life. But the scene held few clues. No blood spatter, no shell casings. It suggested the killing happened elsewhere, and her body was moved here. That theory posed a major challenge. Cases involving relocated victims are notoriously difficult to solve. Led by the Isle of Wight County Sheriff's Office, investigators knew time was crucial. Fortunately, they had one advantage. The victim's identity was confirmed immediately, sparing delays. Aonesty's phone, still on her body, became the investigation's anchor. Its call logs, messages, and GPS data could reveal her final movements.
On Friday, January 13th, 2023, James City County Police Department sent a teletype that they were investigating a missing person. That night, the family of Aonesty Selby notified the sheriff's office that they had discovered her body on a path located off of Blue Ridge Trail in Isle of Wight County. Our office responded and confirmed the decease of a young black female. At this point, the family was consoled and comforted, and the investigation began. Again, through the tenacious work of the Sheriff's Office Investigative Division, Andarius McClelland was peacefully taken into custody in the city of Newport News.
Detectives began by interviewing her roommate, who provided a key lead. Aonesty had been casually seeing someone named Darius. The name was unfamiliar to her family, sparking new questions. When phone records arrived, they helped connect the dots. text between Aonesty and a contact labeled Darius showed casual, ongoing communication. A Cash App transaction stood out. On January 11th, he sent her $30 with a note for an Uber to his place. GPS confirmed Aonesty's phone was at his address for several hours that night before moving to Blue Ridge Trail, where it stopped. Darius had likely been the last person to see her alive. Police quickly identified him as Andarius McClelland, a 21-year-old from Williamsburg. Brought in for questioning, McClelland sat beneath cold fluorescent lights, at first denying everything. He claimed to know nothing about her disappearance, keeping a steady voice while avoiding eye contact. But detectives pressed forward. The phone data, the payment, the GPS trail. The evidence left little room to hide. Eventually, McClelland broke. Shoulders slumped, he confessed he had killed Aonesty Selby. On January 17, 2023, he was arrested. The confession shifted the case into grim clarity. According to McClelland, the killing stemmed from an argument over their relationship, but that explanation raised more questions than it answered. The text between them showed no signs of conflict, just ordinary friendly messages. Investigators dug deeper. They learned that McClelland had borrowed his brother's car that night, saying he was giving Aonesty a ride. Before leaving, he retrieved a firearm from his brother's dresser. It wasn't impulsive. It was planned. Surveillance technology later showed he had never visited Blue Ridge Trail before. Yet on January 11th, he drove there with Aonesty, and in those shadowed woods ended her life with a single, deliberate shot. Andarius McClelland's confession was a breakthrough, but it left more questions than answers. He claimed an argument about their relationship drove him to kill Aonesty Selby, a spontaneous act born of heated emotions. Yet the evidence told a different story, one that suggested calculation and intent. The absence of conflict in their text messages, casual exchanges about meeting up, devoid of tension, cast doubt on his narrative. The narrator of this true crime saga offers a compelling theory. The murder was premeditated, rooted in McClelland's unrequited obsession with a young woman who saw him only as a friend. This perspective, grounded in the available evidence, paints a chilling picture of a tragedy driven by rejection and control. Aonesty and McClelland's interactions, as revealed by phone records, were intermittent. They texted occasionally, arranging meetups that seemed casual, perhaps centered around shared activities like smoking. For Aonesty, these encounters were likely lighthearted, a way to unwind with someone she considered a friend. Her life was full: school, family, dreams of cosmetology, and a serious relationship may not have been a priority. McClelland, however, may have viewed their connection differently. The narrator speculates that he harbored deeper feelings, a crush that grew into obsession. When Aonesty maintained boundaries, keeping their bond platonic, McClelland may have felt rejected, his ego bruised by what he perceived as dismissal. The evidence supports this theory of premeditation. On January 11th, McClelland's actions were deliberate. He borrowed his brother's car under pretenses, claiming he was taking Aonesty home. This choice was strategic, distancing the act from his vehicle. Before leaving, he took a firearm from his brother's dresser, an act that required forethought. Why arm himself for a routine drive? The narrator suggests this was no spur-of-the-moment decision, but a calculated step toward a deadly outcome. McClelland then drove to Blue Ridge Trail, a remote location he'd never visited before, as confirmed by advanced surveillance technology that identifies vehicles beyond license plates. This choice of an isolated, unfamiliar site further points to intent, a place chosen to conceal his actions. The narrator's perspective delves into the psychology of such acts. McClelland's behavior aligns with patterns seen in true crime cases of obsessive attachment. Rejection, real or perceived, can trigger a need for control, especially in individuals who equate affection with possession. Aonesty's independence, her focus on her dreams, her casual approach to their friendship may have been intolerable to McClelland. The narrator theorizes that what Aonesty saw as a smoke buddy relationship, McClelland viewed as disrespect, a dynamic where he felt used. When his attempts to deepen their bond were rebuffed, he may have decided that if he couldn't have her, no one could. This "if I can't have you" mindset, common in cases of intimate partner violence, offers a lens to understand his actions, though it remains speculative. Societal factors also come into play. True crime narratives often highlight how unaddressed emotional struggles or toxic masculinity can escalate into violence. McClelland's youth, 21 years old, suggests a lack of emotional maturity, perhaps compounded by societal pressures to assert dominance. The narrator reflects on how such tragedies might be prevented through better mental health resources and education on healthy relationships. While these insights are opinion-based, they resonate with the evidence. McClelland's deliberate steps, car, gun, remote location, point to a plan, not a spontaneous outburst. Andarius McClelland's arrest on January 17, 2023, brought a fleeting sense of closure to Aonesty Selby's family, but the road to justice quickly grew uncertain. In court, McClelland was charged with murder, a moment that should have marked accountability. Instead, it took a stunning turn. He was deemed incompetent to stand trial following a psychological evaluation. The ruling left the case in limbo, and the family reeling from another emotional blow. What should have been a step toward justice became yet another chapter of delay, a familiar theme in true crime where resolution often remains out of reach. The incompetent ruling raised uncomfortable questions. Was McClelland's mental state genuinely impaired or a tactic to delay justice? These ambiguities haunt many cases, leaving families trapped in uncertainty. For Amanda Bailey and her daughters, it was a devastating reminder that Aonesty's story was far from resolved. The court's decision meant McClelland would undergo treatment or evaluation, with future proceedings contingent on his eventual competency. As of early 2025, the family continues to wait, hoping a trial will finally bring answers. That unresolved status is a heavy weight for those Aonesty left behind. Amanda, who viewed her eldest as a second mother to the younger girls, now faces life without her guiding presence. Her sisters, once comforted by Aonesty's protective nature, must now navigate childhood in the shadow of loss. Communities in Williamsburg and Currituck County, where Aonesty was embraced and admired, mourn the vibrant young woman taken too soon. These stories show how violence ripples outward, not just through families, but entire towns. The narrator expresses doubt about McClelland's story, pointing to inconsistencies that suggest deeper, perhaps darker motives remain undisclosed. It's a sentiment that echoes the family's longing for truth. Despite the lack of resolution, Aonesty's impact endures. Friends remember her laugh, her loyalty, her gift for making ordinary moments special. Her ambitions, cosmetology, travel, family, remain haunting reminders of what was lost. Though the original account didn't detail the public response, one can imagine vigils, memorials, and quiet acts of kindness in her honor. These stories often conclude with a call to remember the victim, and Aonesty's is no different. Her light, though dimmed, continues to shine in memory. Aonesty case is a heartbreaking chapter in the annals of true crime, a tale of a life full of promise ended by betrayal and violence. The secluded woods of Blue Ridge Trail, where she was killed on January 11, 2023, remind us that real danger can sometimes hide in familiar faces. This story compels us to ask, how do we spot the warning signs of obsession before they turn fatal? What can we do to support families devastated by violent loss? Aonesty's tragedy holds lessons that resonate far beyond Williamsburg or Currituck County. It's a call to act with awareness and compassion. The theory that McClelland's actions stemmed from unreciprocated obsession touches on a recurring theme in true crime: how emotional immaturity and rejection can spiral into violence. Aonesty's casual involvement with McClelland, likely centered around companionship and shared habits like smoking, appears to have been misread by him as something more. When reality didn't match fantasy, the situation turned deadly. It's a tragic pattern seen time and again, highlighting the need for education around boundaries, emotional regulation, and healthy relationships. Many young people lack the tools to navigate these dynamics, and the consequences can be devastating. Aonesty's story serves as a powerful warning. The investigation itself showcased the evolving nature of digital forensics. Aonesty's phone became a crucial lead. Its call logs, Cash App history, and GPS data helped to reconstruct her final hours. A $30 transaction for an Uber, followed by location tracking to McClelland's home and then to Blue Ridge Trail, drew a timeline with chilling precision. Surveillance even confirmed McClelland had never been to the trail before, a detail that reinforced the premeditated nature of the crime. While technology provided the truth, it came too late to prevent her death. This paradox invites reflection. How can we use these tools to intervene earlier? The Baileys' journey through grief is ongoing. The incompetent ruling delayed their chance at justice, a reality many families face in the courtroom. But Aonesty's memory continues to inspire. Her dreams and personality live on in stories shared by those who loved her. She reminds us to cherish life and fight for a world where such tragedies are less common. This story leaves us with urgent questions. What truly motivated McClelland? How do we protect vulnerable lives like Aonesty's? Share your thoughts in the comments and join the conversation. For more gripping true crime stories that seek answers and justice, subscribe and turn on notifications. Explore other cases that dive deep into tragedy, survival, and the search for truth. Thank you for honoring Aonesty's memory. Rest in peace, Aonesty Selby. Your light endures, and may your family one day find the justice they so deeply deserve. For more in-depth true crime stories that explore the complexities behind the headlines, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications. Check out our other compelling true crime cases and our well-curated playlist linked in the description. Thank you for engaging with this important story. Until next time, stay safe.